The curse of the Pharaohs is a strange and terrifying thing that everyone fears. But is there really such a curse? No one can answer with a solid yes or no. However, for the sake of science, let's talk about some strange events that happen to people, which they attribute to the curse of the Pharaohs. Whether it's truly a curse placed by the ancient Egyptians to protect their treasures, or just random events that happen to these people, no one knows for sure. One of these events involves a Japanese girl who read a lot of books about the Great Pyramid and the Pharaohs, which made her fascinated with the subject. Her parents were shocked when their daughter started speaking a strange language fluently, a language they didn't know. The girl insisted that they take her to Egypt to see the Great Pyramid. So the parents agreed and they all went to Egypt. The girl insisted on entering the Great Pyramid, and after that, she was never seen again, according to the parents. Now, this story, as strange as it sounds, is something that tour guides near the pyramids often talk about, but no one really knows if it's true or just a tale. For example, it's possible the girl got lost inside the pyramid and ended up leaving with another tourist group. Maybe she wandered through the busy streets of Cairo and got lost. The fact that she was Japanese and not many people in Egypt speak Japanese adds to the mystery, but who knows? Only God knows what really happened to her. Beyond that story about the Great Pyramid, there are other bizarre tales that have left scientists and investigators puzzled, making everyone unsure about what to think or say. You, as the viewer, will have to decide for yourself whether these stories are true or not. Let's look at one of these strange tales, the one we mentioned earlier. In 1910, an American visited the English Egyptologist, Douglas Murray, in Cairo. The American had strange behavior and was seriously ill, but Murray couldn't ignore the reason for his visit. The American offered him the most valuable deal Murray had ever heard of in his life. The American presented him with a sarcophagus containing the mummy of an Egyptian princess, believed to have lived in Thebes around 1600 BC. Her image was carved onto the beautifully decorated box made of ivory and gold, which was in perfect condition. Murray couldn't resist the temptation, so he wrote a check from the Bank of England and began making arrangements to have the sarcophagus sent to his home in London. But the American never cashed the check. He died that very night. Murray later learned from another archaeologist in Cairo why the price for the sarcophagus was so shockingly low. The price made sense because the sarcophagus belonged to a high-ranking priestess in the Egyptian cult of death at the Temple of Amun-Ra. The inscription on her tomb said that she left behind nothing but misfortune and terror for anyone who disturbed her eternal rest. At first, Murray laughed off these superstitions, but 3 days later, while on a hunting trip in Upper Egypt, his rifle exploded in his hands for no reason. After weeks of suffering in the hospital, doctors decided to amputate his arm above the elbow. During his journey back to England, 2 of his friends mysteriously died, and 2 Egyptian servants who had helped carry the sarcophagus also died within a year. When Murray arrived in London, he found that the sarcophagus had arrived before him. When he looked at the image of the princess on the box, her eyes seemed to follow him, and it was as though she was alive. Her gaze sent chills down his spine. Murray decided to get rid of the sarcophagus, but a friend convinced him to give it to her. However, after she took the sarcophagus, things took a horrifying turn. Within weeks, her mother passed away, her lover abandoned her, and she suffered from a mysterious illness that no one could explain. When she made her will, she insisted that the sarcophagus be returned to Murray. By then, Murray was a broken man, tired of all the suffering. So he gave it to the British Museum. But even in that prestigious institution, the curse did not stop. A photographer suddenly dropped dead in front of the sarcophagus while taking pictures, and an Egyptologist, who was responsible for the artifacts on display, also died unexpectedly in his bed with no cause of death. These creepy stories raise the question, Is the curse of the pharaohs real, or are they just coincidences? Whether you believe in it or not, the strange occurrences around ancient Egyptian tombs and artifacts remain one of history's most intriguing and mysterious aspects.